Now we're going to listen to Ben Shapiro talk about it, and it's going to be yet another fucking instance where I agree with Ben Shapiro. I'm going to lose my mind. I assume this is an instance where I agree with Ben Shapiro.
Of younger listeners who are big fans of Andrew Tate, who really enjoy Andrew Tate. Now, the big news over the course of the last couple of weeks is that Andrew Tate, for those who don't know, Andrew Tate is a online, very online guy who was a lightweight kickboxing champion, I believe, and he's become big in the so-called manosphere. He was banned from YouTube, I believe. He was banned from Twitter. And he was banned from these things because he was a self-described misogynist, right? Somebody who believes that men are superior to women in pretty much every possible way. Well, over the last couple of weeks, he got in an online fight with Greta Thunberg in which he was tweeting at her about how he had Bugattis and lots of gas guzzlers and he was heating up the climate. And then she tweeted back at him that he had a small dick. It was all very silly. And then
I don't, like, Ben is the type of dude who just, like, doesn't like Andrew Tate, though. Like, Ben will defend anyone and everyone that is a champion for conservatism, but I'm pretty sure he's the type of dude who's like, no, this guy talks too much about sex. Like, he's the type of person who's like, who does unironically look to, like, would I want my daughters to date men that have learned from this guy? If he was just racist, Ben would love him all day, every day. But he's way too, like, legitimately puritanical to ever be in support of Andrew Tate, I think.
Then, one day later, he ended up being arrested by Romanian authorities. And the allegations against Andrew Tate is that he was engaging in sex trafficking. According to the New York Post, police in tactical gear descended on a villa where Andrew Tate and brother Tristan were staying Thursday to detain the British brothers on kidnapping and rape charges, judicial sources told Romanian outlet Libertatea. Video shows the officers with battering rams and guns sweeping through the dark villa before escorting Tate into a car. The brothers in April had allegedly detained two young women, one with American citizenship and one Romanian, inside the villa against their will, where they were subjected to physical violence and mental coercion, according to the authorities. Police said the Tates allegedly formed an organized crime group and sexually exploited women by forcing them to perform pornographic demonstrations for the purpose of producing and disseminating through social media platforms. The brothers had been questioned for 5 hours by the police back in April, but were released at the time. And then they are currently still being held in Romania right now. Now, Tate had predicted for a long time this would happen to him. He had predicted that people were going to come after him, that they were going to arrest him. Does that mean that he's not guilty of something? I have no idea. I have no idea whether he's guilty of these crimes. It could be trumped up. It could be the Romanian authorities who are embarrassed by Tate. It could be anything. I don't place a lot of stake in the law-abiding nature of the Romanian authorities. I literally know nothing about how the law... I mean, Andrew Tate literally said he moved to Romania in order to avoid law enforcement. So I don't know whether that's true or whether that's not. I assume all of that will come out in the wash. The thing I want to focus on is the popularity of Andrew Tate for a moment. And it's fascinating. Because
oh, wow. I'm surprised. He went way more middle ground than I thought he was going to. Like, he went way more fence sitter, middle ground centrist on this issue than I thought. That's crazy that he's just like, oh, I want to talk about his popularity. It's because nobody wants to fucking say these things that are truths. Like, that's what he's going to say, I think, right?
Because, again, I have a lot of young listeners who are interested.
No, I thought he was going to shit on Andrew Tate. I thought he was going to be like, this guy's a webcam guy. He's a pervert. I don't like it. You know, like.
Interested in the stuff that Andrew Tate says. The reason they're interested in the stuff that Andrew Tate says is because he's transgressive. He's transgressive in that he says things that no one else will say. Some of the stuff that he says is, frankly, terrible. And some of the stuff that he says is not terrible. Some of the stuff that he says is actually a version of truth. I mean, when he says that promiscuity is generally a bad thing, he says it only among women. Or he says when he says promiscuity for women is a bad thing. That used to be a relatively uncontroversial thought, but it's been considered bad to say that now. It's wrong. It's banned. Now, we live in a moment because we are so censorious online and sort of in the political world. We're so censorious. The Overton window has shrunk so much that there are two concepts that have been crimped.
Bro, this guy literally has a webcam business. Like Ben Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew who is like the most puritanical man you've ever met, is defending a sex trafficker, allegedly, who is arrested for sex trafficking, okay, and rape. But like we know for a motherfucking fact that he was doing like e-pimping. That's crazy. Like, I get why Ben Shapiro defends anti-Semites all the time, especially if said anti-Semites like Ann Coulter are defending Israel. Ben has openly talked about how he doesn't care as long as someone defends Israel. He doesn't care if they are anti-Semitic. Okay, he's openly said that. But I'm genuinely shocked that he would defend like a guy who made a living originally doing like sex work. Like if you even think it's consensual, which it wasn't, it was sex trafficking, but like that's wild.
One is truth, as in like Pope Benedict XVI truth. Right? Things, eternal things of value that you're not supposed to say anymore.
It's obvious, like a guy who, by the way, a guy who wrote a book on how pornography should be banned, First Amendment, by the way, is now defending a pornographer.
A man is not a woman. Men should marry women. They should have kids. Right? These are things that are now considered very controversial in the elite circles of the West. You're not supposed to say any of those things. So truth, like capital T, long-standing truths, these things have been denied. And then there's also been stuff that's been denied that's just kind of garbage, like stuff that's not nasty to say or yucky. And so what's been crimped is courage, right? People are afraid to say the truth, and they're also afraid to say their opinion because they lack courage, because the social sanctions are so strong. And so because the social sanctions are so strong, and because they go beyond just crimping the truth, they go to crimping pretty much everybody's feeling that they can even say anything, their opinion, jokes. Because of all of that, courage is now held in higher value than truth itself. Being willing to transgress lines is considered a highest value, because in a time where courage is under attack, courage is a very, very high value. Courage is always the first.
Oh my God. He's like defending how courageous Andrew Tate is for what? Saying, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Andrew Tate and his worldview is quite similar to Ben Shapiro's in many ways as a conservative. So Ben Shapiro's not saying Andrew Tate is courageous. He's saying Ben Shapiro is courageous. But like, that's not the reason why he's in jail, you fucking piece of shit. When is the turn coming? He has to talk about the turn. I also find it additionally hilarious that people have basically substituted being a fucking asshole with courage. What has happened to society? What has happened to our youth? What has happened to people, men in general, that we now just automatically assume the bigger an asshole you are, the more brave you are. It's not bravery to just repeat like the oldest fucking bigoted tropes over and over again. Your grandfather does it all the time for free. Do you think he's brave for doing that? No, he's not. He's just a fucking asshole. What the hell is this?
First value. I mean, C.S. Lewis says, courage is the first value, Christian. Courage is the first value in order to speak the truth. But courage is instrumental. Courage is useful so that you can speak the truth. What's happened in our society because we have decided to shut down so many modes of speech, because we've decided to ban people from social media and unperson them and destroy their lives and their livelihoods. Because we've done all of that, people who speak loudly are considered the best and the bravest. And it's particularly appealing to young people. And so when you draw a lot of fire, the way that Andrew Tate does, a lot of people see that as more courageous than if you say...
Okay, well, is that the reason why he's in jail? Is that what you're alluding to? This is like, never mind, I was wrong, by the way. This is unironically a new low for Ben Shapiro. I was wrong. I thought that Ben Shapiro is the type of dude who would not defend Andrew Tate and not make like the most psychotic. Like, this is the long way of repeating what Aiden Ross is saying. Okay? Ben Shapiro, for 12 minutes, is doing what Aiden Ross is saying. You know what I mean? With the exception of like asking Donald Trump to pardon Andrew Tate in Romania or some shit. Like, this is exactly what all the incels in Andrew Tate's fan base say. They're like, oh, he's not in jail for Romania is corrupt. He's not actually in jail for sex trafficking. He's in jail for the truth. He's in jail for being disruptive. He's in jail for being brave. What is the disruptive, brave takes that Andrew Tate has? Women have to marry men. And that, like, trans people are crazy. How brave? Like, that's something that you hear from 99% of the fucking population for the most part. 99% of normies that are uninitiated with politics are like, yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, it's bigoted. There is no bravery there to repeat something that like most people believe and argue, even if it's wrong. And it is wrong, but it doesn't matter. If we're talking about it from the perspective of bravery, you're not brave for saying the sky is fucking blue.
Say something that is, say, a little bit better calibrated and more in consonance with eternal truth. Whoever draws most fire, in other words, is the person who's considered the most courageous. And this sort of pithy saying that is mostly true, but kind of not, right? That you must be over the target if you're drawing flack. A large percentage of the time, that's true. But sometimes the person who's drawing the most flack is what they're saying is actually kind of bad, right? So the problem for Andrew Tate. And the reason why he's become so popular is because he's very transgressive. He says the thing that no one else will say. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's really not good. We'll get to more on all of this in just one moment. First, the situation with so much donation, his prescriptions are largely incorrect. And
Okay.
I said this to some teenage here, particularly. And so we're going to look at some of the things Andrew Tate says because, again, he's a very popular figure, particularly with young men. And when people ask me about Tate, one of the things that I've said this to some teenage boys who are friends of the family. They asked me about him like, I don't know, a week ago. What I said is some of the diagnoses that Andrew Tate has of secular society are correct. His prescriptions are largely incorrect. And the things that he puts, he has a list of rules. And many of the rules that he puts online are actually pretty good. And then the way that he acts, right? His version of masculinity, which is have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different women, live in a castle with 30 Bugattis, right? Put pictures online and muscle put, like this kind of stuff. That's not the traditional mark of masculinity. What Pope Benedict XVI would say, what I would say, what sort of members of the traditional wisdom cadre would say, is that the ultimate in manliness is get married, protect your family, provide for your kids and your family, provide a space for them to grow in safety and security, provide them roles and responsibilities. This is the role of a man. This is what a man does. What Andrew Tate focuses mainly on is the critique of how society has undermined a lot of this stuff. And then his prescription is, I'm going to put a picture of myself online with like 30 cars and it makes me look cool, makes me look masculine. Hey, I also like cool cars. Cool cars are amazing. But because we have lost eternal truth, because we have decided as a society the eternal truth has to go, the backlash is not coming in the form of a restoration of eternal truth. Very often the backlash is coming in the form of punch the people in the face who destroyed the eternal truth. That's the society in which we're living. And I'm afraid that could get worse.
I don't understand. I'm like kind of shocked by this. I mean, it's boring. It's mid. Andrew Tate is always going to be more entertaining than Ben Shapiro when he's doing misogyny. Like, because he has more charisma than Ben does.
Worse, unless what we actually have is a return to some eternal truth. So here's a couple of clips of Andrew Tate, and it kind of shows you what I'm talking about, that some of what he's saying.
What is the Ben and Tate overlap? Big time. Because Andrew Tate is more popular than a lot of right-wing commentators as an identity, because Andrew Tate is just basically the personification of misogyny. Misogyny as a systemic construct is infinitely more popular than any singular Republican individual. So that's part of the reason why Ben Shapiro and everyone else are basically defending Andrew Tate, because they want to eat from his audience. The goal is that Andrew Tate brings people into the right-wing pipeline. The goal is to basically have Andrew Tate bring people into the right-wing pipeline because he's like an incredibly right-wing person who screams about a lot of right-wing values like patriarchal constructs, homophobic constructs that he reinforces and advocates for. And the goal for Ben Shapiro is to just like take as many people as he can by defending him in this way. No, I just turned on the TTS.
It's kind of half correct, but he's saying it in such a way that is meant to draw fire. So here is Andrew Tate talking about women belonging to men.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's given over
that's inherently where you get called sexist.
No, it's not. Well, you can call me sexist if you want, but if you look at marriage, it's the bride's father who gives her away. It's not the groom's father.
In
Is
old
it?
tradition.
The woman is always given over to the man.
Just saw your Aiden Ross takes a misunderstanding about income. I love you, dude, but stop giving idiots and hateful demons the benefit of the doubt. The medium income is $36K. Oh my God, I want to fucking die, dude.
Yo.
What do I do? What do I do with this guy? What do I do with this guy? I'm asking you guys. What do I do with this guy? First of all, this has to be bait, right? Like 1,000,000% this has to be bait. Okay? Because there are so many different ways of looking at this, okay? There are so many different ways of analyzing median income, average income, annual household income, individuals in certain age groups, individuals in different areas. If you look at the fucking average in like Los Angeles, it's very different than the average in Kansas. Okay? It is literally Aiden rides meat willingly. Aiden and Sneeko should scissor. No, he's not a fucking fan of Andrew Tate. What the fuck are you talking about? No, this guy is concern trolling. Okay? He's concern trolling because he saw some fucking random, like, shitheads probably. Well, what the fuck? There is no way he just changed. Oh, no. No. The reason why he's doing this is because he probably saw some fucking random, like, Democrat centrist go, Hassan is such an idiot for this take. He's actually in the wrong, right? And then he came in here immediately to do, oh, man, you're getting other people to say you're stupid and wrong. You're giving idiots and hateful demons the benefit of the doubt. Please, the median income is $36K. Okay? I'm giving you Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. You're fucking coming in here. I don't know what you're referencing, okay? But it's entirely dependent on what your assessment is, okay? The take is, I said it was $54K. I said the average income in the United States currently is like $54K. Okay? This guy's saying it's $36K. I'm using, yeah, this is mean versus median. And he came in here to correct me on something instead of going over there and correcting others on it. And now I'm stuck defending this, or stuck talking about this. We're moving on.
Read the Bible, read the Quran, you can go to
You're walking down the aisle, no chance. There's like African cultures where they don't do that.
I'm sure there are some obscure tribes somewhere. I mean, I can't say I'm not a professional.
But you get it. You seem like a very smart guy.
Understand why
you seem like a
would
smart
say
guy.
that.
You're saying a woman is the property of a man if they're dating.
I'm not saying they're appropriate. I'm saying they're given to the man and they belong to the man. It doesn't mean they're a pure property without emotion.
Okay, so notice the contrast here. So Portnoy is so afraid of saying that a woman and a man belong together, and that a woman, when she gets married,
can talk about
now
right
belongs to the man sexually, in the same way that the man ought to belong to the woman sexually. This is literally Genesis 2:24. Right? For this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And Genesis 2:24. So that would be the eternal truth. That is the truth according to every mainstream religion. Tend to prefer.
Okay, I don't care. This is so boring. He's like defending it by, oh God, it's so annoying. All right. Here's a Vice special report on Andrew Tate, which apparently has the following is an excerpt from an interview with Sally. Her name is withheld in order to protect their identity. This is going to be coming out later on Vice. Okay, this is a Vice investigative report on Andrew Tate. Tell if like True Delusion is like an Andrew Tate fan or something, or if he's just truly delusional and basically chirps in the chat specifically so that like I recognize him as like a weirdo in the chat. Every time we talk about anything, he has to be like, I have a third worldist perspective, which is why I think Andrew Tate's like sex trafficking ring might be not all, not the way that the way that Vice is presenting it, because Vice is like bad. Yeah, Vice is bad, bro. Like that doesn't change the reality, especially as like, here, I'll say this much. Okay, Vice is bad. Vice cuts a lot of propaganda that's like inherently right-wing, inherently, pro-American State Department. Okay? This video, in and of itself, does not immediately raise alarm bells for me in particular. Not because I'm like motivated to, out Andrew Tate or whatever. Not because I'm such a woke soy lord who's always like believe women no matter what or anything like that. It's because Andrew Tate himself has routinely talked about how he treated the people that worked, that he sex trafficked in the ways that they're describing. Okay? That's why. Like, don't listen to the victims. Listen to Andrew Tate. He has said it openly. He would withhold their earnings. Is that a surprise to you? No, because he has admitted that. Someone should do a fucking supercut of everything she's saying versus everything Andrew Tate has also said. Bro, how are you a 4-month subscriber? Look. We got to address something, dude. Okay? Look, listen to me. You're a 4-month subscriber. You literally said lost all respect for Aiden when he started to fuck with Tate, and him defending him should get him canceled. How the fuck do you go from that to this feels fake as fuck when, once again, you look at a fucking video like this and every single thing that this woman is saying, unironically, 1-to-1 corresponds to things that Andrew Tate has said and has defended. This is important to understand. This is a moment for self-reflection. This is a moment to examine the underlying inherent misogynistic takes that you might have. You see a woman crying, you see Vice, and you're like, oh, fuck this. They're just trying to come after Andrew Tate probably. How the fuck do you arrive at that? Okay, for a guy like Andrew Tate. For any other guy, maybe you have a little bit more of this take. It's still kind of misogynistic to immediately look at a crying woman and think like she's lying, okay, without like getting a better assessment of all the facts involved. But the idea that like you would do this for Andrew Tate when Andrew Tate himself has openly bragged about doing all of these things is crazy. You lean towards anything that's negative and favors your opinion. You truly are passionate about outing Andrew Tate. He has never said he punched his employee in the arm for no reason. Okay. I like that he snuck in employee that way, by the way. But there's not only footage of Andrew Tate beating women, okay, like openly beating women, okay. There are plenty of it, which I can't even show you because it's TOS. There are also instances of Andrew Tate talking about beating women who are out of place, who are out of pocket, okay? Here, this is a fanboy.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck. What's up, bitch? Girl.
There's also footage. There's also footage of Andrew Tate beating women, which I originally said could be a kink thing. Okay, specifically, BDSM can be done consensually, and a lot of people don't understand it and think like that's fucked up. It's not for me, but ultimately there are instances, there are accounts of women saying that it wasn't consensual. So that takes that consideration and throws it out the window. Okay. It's weird to me that you would say that you would immediately rush to be like, oh, that's not true. Like Andrew Tate doesn't beat women when he himself has said time and time again that he has beaten women.
I'm like 100 and something kilo. Women aren't as big as me. You're like a 55 kilo female. I will pick you up with one hand by your titty, body slam your ass. And when I'm standing on top of you and you're like, and I'm grabbing you by your neck, and you've learned, I learned in self-defense, when he grabs me by my neck, what I do is I get my fingers in. Yeah, but you know what they didn't teach you in self-defense? Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me, trying to resist, and I just, and then I grab you by your neck again. Then what the fuck are you gonna do when your face is collapsed? I'm like a
Like, How the fuck defended chatter? I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say, well, he's talking about self-defense style situation. No, he's gonna say in a self-defense style situation. He didn't say he would beat his own. Wait, oh, hold on. This was a good video here. I mean, this is like basically my compilations of him talking about his business strategies numerous times. This lawyer basically.
Because at the beginning she will need you, but then she
control with emotions and physical control.
And this is extremely important, because at the beginning she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive.
Fallacy, that's his word. His word. Not taking this out of context. So she'll need you at first, but then she won't. But you have to keep her convinced that she does need you. That's how you control. That's the control part. And it is a fallacy. And what is fallacy? Fraud.
She can't do this without you, to ensure that she doesn't do it without you. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera. Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire. The blonde in that video I'm still with now. You'll see from there how we explain that there's people typing or pretending to be the girl 24 hours a day. So it hasn't got to be 24.
That part, I suppose, is fine in terms of a business model. But it's fraud. I mean, he's the one typing, and so you think you're getting all excited by something she's saying, and here you're really communicating with Andrew Tate.
But that method is very important for two reasons. First, let me explain how it works. Listen up, motherfuckers. So the girl's on the webcam. She's sitting here. When a girl is on camera, she has a public room, which people will visit, and they will spend money in and talk shit.
And when you think about it, the people that he's appealing to on these webcams are just a bunch of really lonely guys, and there's a ton of them out there.
It is your job to train the girl to talk to and interact with that public room as much as possible. So when people come in the room and say, oh, hey, how are you? She's like, they type. The men type, hey, how are you? It comes in the box. She goes, oh, hey, I'm fine, thank you. And she has to make sure her public room is engaging and interesting as much as possible to keep people in the room. Now, while the public...
So there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with what he's actually doing. It's the nature of how he's getting the girls there and keeping them there.
Yeah.
She can also receive private messages. And all those private...
Anyway, he's basically describing the OnlyFans management business, but the problem is OnlyFans management business, when done consensually, is still unethical in the sense that it's like inherently very exploitative. And I think OnlyFans managers do like take too large of a cut with not really a lot of like true management that they bring to the table, with the exception of like a AI chat farm or like an Indonesian chat farm basically that they bring. And they manage the messages that like OnlyFans girls get throughout the entire year. But as far as like the methods of how he finds the girls and keeps them there, that is incredibly illegal. Part of that is, according to the investigation and according to Andrew Tate himself, physical coercion. Okay? Physical intimidation, threats of violence, on top of loving or portraying, on top of like, the classic fucking TikTok abuse term of love bombing, like being manipulative, emotionally manipulative, getting people to like fall in love with you, and then brutally abusing them after you have successfully isolated them. That's just how he fucking does his shit. And he openly states it too. Like, he openly has talked about it so many fucking times. It's like very weird that people still try to defend it. 2 women have told Vice World News they were violently abused, one raped, the other repeatedly strangled by Andrew Tate, and that the UK police and the Crown Prosecution Service mishandled their case. Shocking. Shocking. Shocking to me that happened. That's crazy. That's crazy that the UK police... It's shocking that Andrew Tate did that after he said he did it. And it's also incredibly shocking that, like, police forces were not able to conduct a proper investigation. Like, so surprised. Like, the top of the hour ad break coming in 6 minutes later, okay? Normally it comes at exactly 3. Sometimes it comes at 3:06. And it should not shock you that you can avoid the ad break at the top of the hour by subscribing. I don't know how to do a better segue. This is a heavy conversation. I'm not very good at doing segues during heavy conversations. You already know that. I don't want to fucking hear it. You no longer want to see those ads. All you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime if you want an uninterrupted ad-free broadcasting experience. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. You can get gifted a sub. BC Bray, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. King, thank you for the 5 get the subs as well. By the way, if you guys are thinking like, oh man, that's crazy, cops never do that. Scathing report condemns police in England and Wales for victim blaming in rape cases. Examination exposes failure to track repeat suspects and botched investigations by struggling forces. A damning official examination. No one like made this up. It wasn't like the woke lords that fucking, decided like cops are bad, or it wasn't like a bunch of ACAB motherfuckers. You know what I mean? It was an official examination that looked into how police forces tackle rape, and it exposed persistent failings in the criminal justice system, including a failure to track repeat suspects, explicit victim blaming, and botched investigations. Oh, man. Into the first year of Operation Soteria Bluestone, launched by the government after a catastrophic fall in rape prosecutions, also paints a picture of an overworked, traumatized, and inexperienced police force in England and Wales, which are struggling to cope with an increase in rape reports after years of austerity.
Hertfordshire.
At this stage, I don't think any amount of evidence is going to convince Andrew Tate fanboys that Andrew Tate is in the wrong here, because like part of believing and loving Andrew Tate means that you like the misogynistic things he's saying, and part of that underlying misogyny is the not so subtle implication, the very overt rhetoric that like rape culture is a falsehood and that like women deserve it and you can beat them. So of course, when you make yourself the face, the international living, breathing face of misogyny, the fanboys that you cultivate that also agree with that are not going to fucking believe you. Are not going to believe the victims, because loving Andrew Tate is all about not believing the victims and thinking that women are liars and whatnot. So that's how it is. That's where we're at in this matter. Insane. We're gonna do betters are ruining Valorant Ranked. I want to talk about that, but I kind of want to watch this criminal lawyer.
Important. Later on down the line, I got to the point where I'd hired typers, so I didn't have to type. So I'd hired girls to sit and type and pretend to be the girls. So I had girls online. I had an office full of girls pretending to type. So I had 4 typers, 20 girls online, for example. Another reason we use Chaturbate is because they will pay you in Bitcoin.
This is another critical part of what he does, and that may impact a criminal prosecution of him later. And if you recall at the beginning of this video, he talked about not wanting to own property because he didn't want to pay taxes. And him not paying taxes is a recurring theme. And so if he's avoiding taxes, you can't avoid taxes with Bitcoin. I mean, you still owe the money. If you're making money, it's income, you have income taxes. Just because you're paid in Bitcoin doesn't mean that you don't owe the taxes. So let's continue.
They'll pay you in Bitcoin. You put in your Bitcoin address and they'll pay you in Bitcoin. And this is amazing because you've all seen the thought audit shit that's going on. You've all seen the fucking legalities of banking. Trying to get money out of these sites into your bank without paying a shitload of tax is actually very difficult.
See, it's that whole avoiding taxes. And it's not legal to do that. It's not legal to not pay your taxes.
And that was going to be about an hour segment of this fucking thing. But we don't need to do that anymore because in the last 6 months, Chaturbate have released a Bitcoin option. So they'll pay you in Bitcoin. So if your girl on there working...
It is insane to me that he basically fucking wrote a book or like a how-to video on, one, how to sex traffic women, two, how to avoid paying taxes for the sex traffic women that you were forcing into sex trafficking, three, how to take all of their earnings and not pay them. Like, this is the entire thing is out there for you to find. And it's not like he hid this, okay? It's not like he hid this reality. He fucking routinely advocated for it on numerous podcasts.
Let's say you generate $3,000-$4,000, bang, you get Bitcoin into your wallet. Done. No fucking tax, no fault audit, none of that shit. And I had a separate phone with all my girls' guys in that phone, and I kept control of it. And I would speak to them, and before she went online, I would tell her like any basic information. You don't let your girl have this.
I gotta
if
pee,
your
I'll be
girl
back.
ever runs off and leaves you, which is going to happen to some of you at least. You don't want her to have an address book of all the guys she can get money from.
Another aspect of control. You don't want her to have your client list, because if she has your client list, she can leave you. So you've got to restrict her information. So it's systematic, and it's a systematic method of control to control these women. Now, these are not my words. These are his words and his words alone.
You want her to leave and go, well, I don't know the account. I don't have the password to the account. I've never set it up before. I don't know how the banking works. I don't have any of my guys' phone numbers. I have nothing. And that's why they don't want to leave, because they're like, oh, well, he has everything. I need him. I have to stay with him. He has everything. It's important. I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control.
It's a very important element, that control.
The girls will be like, well, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody.
That's not legal advice, by the way.
You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girl's working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element.
See how that control is a recurring theme over and over and over again?
If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element.
And he doesn't have respect for these women at all, because he thinks they're stupid.
It allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. If they say, why is it 50-50? Because I'm the one on camera. You say, because I'm the one typing, I'm the one with the property you're working in, I'm the one paying the bills, the electricity, I'm the one who's, and the electricity and every other maintenance cost of this property, I'm the one who bought the equipment, I'm the one who knows what he's doing, I'm the one with the knowledge, I'm the da-da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up, go online. And they should be pretty happy with that if they respect you as a person overall. So really you're paying 30, you tell them you're paying 50, the difference is in the tax. That's where the disparity lies, taxes. If they don't believe you or they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I used to do this all the time. I used to print out some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here and sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Oh, okay. And they just sign away. They don't know what they're fucking signing. I just throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening besides me getting rich, bitch.
Nothing's happening except for me getting rich, bitch. That's what he just said. So he's taking another 20% of what would have been their earnings, saying he's paying taxes, but he's not paying taxes. His words. Having them even sign a dummy tax form that is just to try to convince her even more that he's paying some taxes, which is just ridiculous. And so, what is the middle word? Fraud. That's fraud. Force, fraud, or coercion.
Anyway, so tax is another important element to keep control of.
Holy shit, this is just him admitting to all this stuff. Bro, we watched this video. We watched parts of this video where he openly admits to like coercing women. I never watched the tax stuff because like ultimately that's just like pretty basic shit. A lot of people try to like give you tax avoidance, but we watched it like a year ago. We watched it again recently. I've told you guys so many fucking times, like Andrew Tate openly has talked about, you know, entrapping women and coercing them into sex trafficking or working with the Romanian mafia.
You have to fuck the girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female, and I'll tell you why. Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. Now, a woman is always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you and you say,
I don't know why the audio got duplicated. It's a video thing.
look, we're going to be business partners, we're going to make money, here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together, blah, 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 blah. Here's a fucking, I've had dudes, I've known loads of guys who've like tried to do a contract with a girl, tried to sit there and talk common sense to a girl. When's the last time talking common sense to a girl has ever worked? Ever. If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind.
Again, control. Control her through money, control her through information, control her through manipulation, control her through sex.
As opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me. What you actually turn these things into is Bitcoin. So effectively what a webcam company doing is mining Bitcoin. But instead of mining Bitcoin the traditional way with huge electricity expenses and massively expensive equipment and space and cooling and all that bullshit, you mine Bitcoin with some pussy and titties.
You mine Bitcoin with pussy and titties. That's what he just said. Did I take that out of context? I don't think I did. My whole point in bringing this up is not to bash Andrew Tate, although I'm not a fan, and I don't care to even pretend that I'm a fan. But it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case because it has international intrigue, but you also have, from his own words, the control aspect, how important it is to control these women. I think the government, with this video, with just this one video alone, has an excellent foundation for the sex trafficking charge. But more than that, they also have probably a tax beef that they could levy against him once they start diving into his books. In analyzing this, I really don't want you to think I'm taking anything out of context, because I'm not. But let's see, in his own words, how he's recruited, lured, or retained these girls.
Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Remember Ghislaine Maxwell? That was the girl that recruited for Jeffrey Epstein. Almost identical to what he's talking about.
Like, this, unironically, if Jeffrey Epstein was instead of like trying to fucking find ways of like getting Bill Gates to preserve his penis or whatever, if he was making YouTube videos talking about how women are bitches and shit, you would have had the exact opposite fucking take. Like, most people would have had the exact opposite take on Jeffrey Epstein. It is 100% clear to me. Okay? Because Andrew Tate-Stein is doing pretty much the same shit. Okay? The only exception is he's doing it at like a much lower level, and he's not doing it while simultaneously working with like working with like intelligence agencies and shit, and not doing it for the same fucking clientele. That's it. And not children. That's true. Epstein also worked with underage girls, like, sex trafficked minors and underage girls, and fucked them. Even though Andrew Tate has also talked about, like, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested for sex trafficking and also fucking minors who were the same age as the girls Andrew Tate has also talked about fucking when he was 21. So just remember that. It's not like Andrew Tate hadn't done that and had openly talked about it. And there's a video out there of Andrew Tate openly talking about how he like had sex with a 16-year-old who was ugly and like catfished him when he was 21 years old. And like his brother Tristan is defending him going, "Oh, well, actually, it's the age of consent is 16 in the UK. Shut the fuck up." So like people are fucking talking about like Jeffrey Epstein, but Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Tate not super far from one another with the actions that we know that they've engaged in.
Here, when you put all this into context, you have the way he structured his business. One of the ways that he's lured the girls is by having another girl there, identical to what Epstein was doing. Now,
lol, what? Wait, what do you mean? Dude, everything I say about Andrew Tate, you can find like Andrew Tate talking about, okay?
I've seen all of this coming. I've prepared for all of it. Nothing can happen on the planet that doesn't make me richer.
This crazy influencer Andrew Tate allegedly tried to lure a 16-year-old politician's daughter after bombarding her with explicit messages before his arrest. There's this part, and then there's another one. Hold on. Here, receipts. Daria Gusa, now 19, believes she was lucky to escape from Tate's brother's alleged webcam sex scam. Wait, where is it? After being contacted by Andrew over Instagram when she was only 16. It seems suspicious to me that a man with several million followers whom I had never heard of had sent me an explicit message with the obvious purpose of hooking up with me, says Daria Gusa, daughter of Cosmin Gusa, partial owner of Realitatea TV. But this isn't the only time. Because remember, this is not a he said, she said situation. This is a she said and also he agreed situation. Okay? This is one of the instances, but that's not the only one. That's not the only one. Hold on. I just gotta, there's so much of his fucking videos that it's like hard to there's hard evidence of him admitting shit. Okay. So it's like, but there are so many clips of him that it's like hard to figure out exactly which one the right one is. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You've seen me watch this clip before. Oh, here it is.
There was once a girl named April Baker is.
I don't know if they're ready for that.
There was once a girl named April Baker.
Little sexy, little fat ass. And I was like, you're hot. So I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me. I'm 21. I don't care. So I pick up April Baker in my Mazda RX 8. Who knows about them cars? No one knows. So I pick up April Baker and I was so disappointed. April Baker was the original catfish. Before catfish was a thing, April Baker was a thing. She went from a 10 to a 5. I don't know if she did it. Bro, I was banging her, like looking at her Facebook on the phone, like just staring at a different face. So from there on out, girls became Aprils. And we still use this to this day. Like if I turn up with a chick and she ain't that hot, I can explain to the whole table, apologize to my boys. They know my game ain't weak and go, this is April. My name is not April. Oh yeah, Elena.
Oh, everyone get the fuck over it. 16's the legal age of consent in the UK.
Like, fuck you mean, bro? Fuck you mean? The fuck? I mean, that's it. People that don't know enough about Jeffrey Epstein's circumstances or Jeffrey Epstein's court case probably are unfamiliar, but like around the same age, the girls that he like literally picked up from high school in Florida, the was it Palm Beach High School? There you go. And also Mar-a-Lago, exactly. Top G, right? I mean, Top Jeffrey. Even his own fucking fan base was calling him out for it, which Tristan responded in the way that he did. A Romanian woman named Dara Gusha reported that Andrew Tate started sending explicit messages to her on Instagram when she was just 16 years old. She also says he sent messages to her classmate, including one who was in 10th grade, 15 years old. By the way, did you know all this before the debate? Because I sure didn't. This is so disgusting. No, of course I didn't know this level of depravity. No, of course not. Like, no, you think I wouldn't have brought this shit up? What are you, crazy? I didn't know No, I knew enough about his like Hustlers University stuff. And my goal was to talk about the sex trafficking allegations, which were pretty fucking credible at the time as well. The second time I was going to debate him, but the second time never came. He instead turned around and fucking talked about how he was actually, not ducking me, but I was ducking himself or something. I mean, here,
has like a girl ever brought you back to
he changed his rhetoric later, talking about how he wants like 19-year-olds because they're pure or whatever. And many people recognize that this didn't pass the smell test back then, because the concepts that he's talking about with respect to purity and virginity also apply to girls that are even under the age of 18. The reasonings as to why he wanted to only fuck like, young girls. I mean, it's not even like, it's not that crazy that he literally fucking said to a minor immediately after my debate with him that, she should get a real man. And like was talking about how hot she was. I mean, there was a minor in that fucking debate. There were two minors in that debate. Clicks' girlfriend, which Andrew Tate was like fucking being really weird and gross towards when he's like 36 whole ass years old. 37 years old. It's so fucking weird. But it doesn't matter because, like, at a certain point, brother, if you are, if you're famous enough, especially in the realm of misogyny, if you're famous enough, these motherfuckers will overlook all the creepy, gross, weird shit that you say. And, like, even if you don't find that to be, distasteful because you're, like, a normal human being, okay? It sure as hell isn't going to help you get pussy, okay? I promise. Think about it from like a self-preservation perspective if you can't think about it from the perspective of being a good human, okay?
And this is the danger when you have so much stuff that's out there that's reckless, right? Let's see what he has to say about the Romanian court system and their jails.
Romanian court. So there's some, not a court in Romania. They're corruption-free, as we all know. They put me in jail. I'm going to walk in there with a pile of money like this.
I'm going to walk in there with a pile of money like this. Did he walk in there with a pile of money?
Boom, get some hoes. This sells mine. I'm ready. Put me in jail. I don't give a fuck. You take their court case, shove it up the pocket.
He's now in a jail in Romania. He is now going to be subject to the courts in Romania. He just, on this video, I'm sure the prosecutors have this, because I have it. If I have it, they have it. Flouting, taunting.
Hopefully these year people are more charitable to you because you're straight up. No, man. People are not charitable to me because of the shit that I say about people like Andrew Tate. People would rather not take a hard look at who they fucking idolize and instead continue living in the fucking Matrix, like unironically, because the Matrix is this shit, okay? If the Matrix is Jeffrey Epstein, this is, budget Jeffrey Epstein over here. Jeffrey Epstein on a fucking budget.
Showing complete and utter disregard for the Romanian court system, which he's now going to be facing. Now, if you recall, the statement from his own lawyer said Mr. Tate has nothing but the utmost respect for the court system. Well, that's not what it says here. So what I'm trying to get at here is the case for them to be made, and granted, women may come here by their own will or come to Romania and work for him, but there are statements from women saying they wanted to leave, they were controlled, he controlled their passports, he controlled every part of their movement, because if they can come and go as they please, he doesn't have a continuous source of revenue. He doesn't have money coming in. And that's his only goal. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. So you tell me where I've taken things out of context. I haven't taken one thing out of context. This is what he's charged with.
I don't know. I don't know why. Like the thing is, like, all of this stuff he has admitted on camera, right? The problem is people are like, well, why don't his fans see this sort of thing? Why don't his fans see this side of Andrew Tate? And the real scary truth there is that they do see this side of Andrew Tate. Okay? They like it. They think it's cool. That's why half the shit that you can find on Andrew Tate admitting to crimes, self-snitching, are actually from his own fucking fan base's TikToks. That's the real scary part about this conversation, is not just like Andrew Tate as an individual is like budget Jeffrey Epstein. It's the fact that budget Jeffrey Epstein has a lot of fans because of the Jeffrey Epstein style shit that he did. Okay? Anyway. He talks about it in a joking way, so people are more skeptical when they come forward. It's fucking disgusting. I mean, dude, but he's not. But he's like, if someone was portraying themselves as a character like that exclusively for the ha-has, okay? But like very clearly is villain coded, right? Like is just like making a mockery of the situation of a character like that. You know, it's still something you can talk about with respect to like ironic misogyny, still misogyny, yada, yada, yada. But like Andrew Tate was doing it. You know what I mean? Andrew Tate was doing the things that he was like supposedly joking about. Do you see what I'm saying? My guy said villain coded. You know what I mean, man. You know what I mean. You could like, I'm not in the business of being like, all matter of jokes about like touchy subjects and horrific realities is something that you can't do. It's out of the question. You can't do that. It's off the table. I'm not like that at all. The difference in this circumstance is that he's not fucking joking. He did do these things. That's why he is currently arrested and sitting in a Romanian prison cell for doing said things that he said he was joking about, or that his fan base was saying he was joking about. What the fuck is this? Mom reacts to Tate XQC stream?
Is the result of feminism gone wild, turning men into women. That's what they want to do. And look, they've done it.
That's awesome. The motherfucking Rizzler, dude, getting his comeuppance, dude.
Shit, man. What the fuck was that?
QC is the result of feminism gone wild, turning men into women. That's what they want to do. And look, they've done it.
This has 404,000 likes, bro. TikTok is literally an abyss, okay? When are you going to stop covering Tate? The dude's in prison now. Move on from the guy. I can't tell if you're one of the Andrew Tate stans that is saying this or you're one of those fucking weirdos. But like, you know, the reality is that like there's still additional information coming out. And the reality is that like, there's still plenty of fans of Andrew Tate that are out there in the wild defending him when more information keeps coming out about all of the things that he's allegedly arrested for, the things that he is openly stating he did.
XQC is the
Jesus. Dude, look at this shit.
$404,000 likes on that, by the way. That shit is crazy. We already watched the extremely rare Hassan W. Why are you so chronically online? I'm a Twitch streamer, my man. This is my job. My job is to be chronically online. Also, you're in here with me. So what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Take a day off. That bait. Anyway, there is 2 women told Vice News they were violently abused, one raped, the other repeatedly strangled by Andrew Tate, and that the UK police and the Crown Prosecution Service mishandled their case. We talked about this already. Romanian police said late in December 2022 that they identified 6 people who were allegedly sexually exploited by an organized criminal group that recruited victims via false displays of affection, known as the so-called lover boy method, forcing women to perform pornographic content via physical violence and mental coercion. According to one woman, Tate used a similar method of emotional and physical control in his UK webcam business back in 2015 before relocating to Romania, but the CPS declined to prosecute the case. When I saw that he was arrested in Romania, I was shocked and didn't know how to react. I cried. Everything I read is what I told the police at the time of the complaint. If the CPS had just pulled their finger out, none of this would have happened, Sally said. A second woman whom we're calling Helen says she was happy something had been done, but not completely hopeful as he's walked free from his sexual assaults before. While Tate was released under investigation by Hertfordshire police following women's complaints, meaning it was suspected of a criminal offense and a police probe was ongoing, he appeared as a contestant on the reality TV show Big Brother in 2016. Producers were informed by the police of the ongoing investigation, but kept him on the show for 5 days before removing him. During that time, he was shown playing Truth or Dare in the hot tub, kissing one of the female contestants. Channel 5 said at the time that Tate had been removed from the Big Brother because of information which came to light. Press reports linked his ousting from the house to a video that had surfaced of him slapping his ex-girlfriend and then beating her with a belt, a narrative that Tate himself would later encourage. But the real reason why he was actually fucking kicked out of the Big Brother house was because there was a police investigation being conducted on rape and assault. It wasn't the videos, but because he's such a piece of shit, he was able to he was basically able to literally use another instance of him being a piece of shit, but like I guess somehow a lighter form of piece of shit, to you know, completely fucking squash the news around why he was actually kicked off a Big Brother. What? Fresh and Fit said I was spreading misinformation.
Because there's so much misinformation. We got losers like Penguin and Hassan and all these other idiots going out here spreading a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I'm calling them out by their fucking names. And, you know, their job is to go ahead and try to kick somebody while they're down. And the difference is this, like, Andrew right now doesn't have a platform. He's being held. And
let's talk about Moist Critical. He said Penguin.
And these guys want to go ahead and try to push a narrative. So we're going to go ahead and report some of the facts for y'all.
At the fact that he may be detained.
Yeah.
What do you mean he may be detained? He is detained. He is in jail. He is in jail for 30 days at least, unless an appeal kicks in. These are not things I speculated, man. There's a difference between like what you guys are doing over there and what I'm doing. What I'm doing is covering the fucking news. What these guys are doing is just making stuff up to defend their friend who is, ironically, in jail for sex trafficking, which is what that Fed claims he used to do back in the day. He used to stop sex traffickers. That's how he described his job. Meanwhile, he's just dick riding a sex trafficker. Anyway, that's crazy to me. Okay, there's more to it. But wait, is this out already? Or this is not out yet? The Vice special report on Andrew Tate, a documentary on Andrew Tate. It's not out yet, but it's going to be out soon, I guess.
Do you ever wonder why some people who you've never heard of before all of a sudden appear everywhere? Andrew Tate is an Anglo-American kickboxer turned influencer whose extreme misogynist videos have helped make him the most viral man in the world.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch!
On December 29th, he and his brother were arrested by Romanian police as part of a rape and human trafficking investigation.
The Matrix has attacked me.
A few months before their arrest, I was in Romania.
Yeah, like, bro, when people say, like, Hassan is spreading misinformation about Andrew Tate, it's like, but I'm using clips of him talking about the things that he used to do and continues to do so. Like, I'm just showing you what he has said.
Romania, trying to get access to their so-called secret society, the War Room.
The War Room is the most powerful network on the face of the planet today.
Andrew Tate. To get inside, I had agreed to endure a professional cage fight in Romania.
I know he's gonna lose, but wow, he's actually in there.
Along with 100 Tate superfans.
We shouldn't be slaves, we shouldn't be working 9-to-5 jobs.
I need to grow, I need to get better, I need to evolve.
I'm not tough on myself. Nobody else will be. That's what I learned from Andrew Tate.
He's saying you hold on to it.
What I found out.
My plan was to sow anarchy.
Oh, but that's his magician, by the way. That's not a joke. Andrew Tate has a magician in his, like, army of losers. That's his, like, mage. Who put a hex on me. He's a warlock? My bad. I think that's a rabbi. Don't be anti-Semitic. Wait, what? No. Shut the fuck up. No, dumbass. You're the one who assumed he's a fucking rabbi. What the fuck?
My plan was to sow anarchy.
Is that this recent arrest appears to be just the tip of the iceberg.
This is definitely a hit piece.
I don't care.
The real story
We've clearly conquered the internet.
began years ago.
There's not a single female complaining.
Do you think there's not a single female complaining?
Have you seen one? Tell me.
My ex-boyfriend was radicalized by Andrew Tate. It's sweet, and I guess vulnerable to being brainwashed by Andrew Tate and his cult.
People don't know what he's done.
Yeah, that guy is a wizard. He's on Twitter. He, like, said he put a hex on me or some shit. But anyway.